Hey everybody, and welcome back to some more Oxygen Not Included. Last episode, we were working on trying to bring the power that our base uses right down to hopefully mitigate some of the massive coal loss that we were experiencing in the last episode. And if we take a look at our colony summary here, we can see, looking at the same average power produced graph over here, that we are now using much less power than we were just a few cycles ago. We peaked at around 1,500 kilojoules per cycle, and since the measures that we took in the last episode, we are now down to about 675 kilojoules worth of power, so we've almost cut the amount of power that we are using in half, which is fantastic. It should allow us to continue going a little bit longer on our current supplies of coal. And speaking of coal, real quick, before I get on to what I want to work on in today's episode, somebody did point out in the comment section that this is not connected, and so our third coal generator here is wasting coal. It's on all the time, it's constantly burning through the coal, no matter whether or not we need the actual power coming from it. And so if we look again at our colony summary here, we might actually see our power wastage go up. Yeah, there were some peaks here, and you can see maybe a bit of a peak here. I think the fact that we were using so much power, our coal generators were essentially on all the time anyway, so maybe over the last few cycles, this not being connected didn't really matter too much. But going forward, if we're trying to save power, it is going to matter that this thing doesn't keep on burning coal when that's not necessary. But what I want to work on in today's episode is, one, power. I do want to try and organize our power a little bit, because right now the grid is a little bit of a mess, and I think that's being nice about it, in that all of our transformers are right next to each other, and I don't think that's a good idea, simply due to the fact that when you put them all next to each other and then try and separate out the outputs, you end up with this mess and jumble of wires, and the fact that they're also concentrated in one area, and yet we have to get power to all areas of the base, it means that you just end up with a wire network that is completely monstrous and completely just horrendous to try and deal with. And if we ever want to add new machines to our network, it's quite hard right now to kind of figure out where in the network there is space for more power, like where in the network there is, a couple of watts spare that we can use. And so what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking of moving all of these power transformers and having one power transformer per level of the base. So for example, if we go over to the power tab, we cannot make a transformer just yet because I think we are out of power. I am going to go ahead and schedule some copper here. That does also remind me, real quick, I'm also going to go ahead and select the research for smelting. People in the comment section have been telling me for a while now that we should definitely look into the metal refinery. This allows us to get so much more metal out of our metal ore. Right now, I believe the way it works is that the sand crusher turns our metal ore into half metal and half sand. So if you put 100 kilograms of copper ore in there, you get 50 kilograms of metal and 50 kilograms of sand, which is not great. It's a little bit of a waste of the copper ore and probably a reason why we're running out of it so fast. But nevertheless, whilst they're building that, the plan here is to have the rooms be symmetrical on this side. So I want to go about 15 blocks out, which I think 3, 6, 9, 12. I think it's about there. Yes, that is 15 blocks. So we're going to go across, down, and then of course we're going to go up to the top, much like with the rest of the base. And this is essentially just going to be more space for more rooms. These are of course going to be extra bedrooms if we intend to get more duplicates. There's going to be a bit of a gap there, but that is fine. And then I'm thinking about having a ladder down this side, again, just to make it a little easier for our duplicates to get around. For example, if they're up here and they need to get, down to here, if there wasn't a ladder, they'd have to go all the way back, down, and then across, which is just a little bit of extra time wasted, which we really want to try and avoid. But then over here on the left-hand side of the ladder, I'm thinking of having some little rooms that are the same size as the bedrooms, so 4 tiles wide, like so. And these rooms are going to contain our transformers. They're going to go all the way down to the bottom of the base, like so. And each one of these little squares is going to contain one transformer. And that one transformer is going to be responsible for delivering power to that one level of the base. So a transformer here would have a power wire that comes down. And again, we're so low on resources, we need to go and dig out some more ore in a second here to actually build this. But the wire would come down in the floor and then would go up and provide power to any machines on this floor. Of course, right now, this floor does not have 1,000 watts worth of power usage. But as we build out to the right and to the left, we can add more machines in, knowing that we have the excess wattage for this floor here. It's going to become a lot easier to kind of calculate how much power is currently being pulled from that one transformer and then work out how much stuff we can put on that floor given its current power limits. That's the idea, at least. And so I am using insulated tile here because the transformers do get a little bit hot. I believe they pump out about 1,000 DTUs per cycle. Let me check that real quick though. I think that is about right. Yeah, per second, not per cycle, but the number still remains the same. And so that's the plan, at least. I'm thinking that's going to make our lives a little easier. It is, of course, going to mean that we have to move our coal generators. That's fine. And in doing so, I also think that we should make our power plant just that little bit bigger so that hopefully we can incorporate some of the other generators into that power plant and get the benefit from being able to tune those generators up. Generators like the natural gas generator can be moved, and also that leads me on nicely to the next thing that I do want to work on in today's episode, and that is, of course, working on, real quick, I'm just gonna put a ladder down here so that they can get between the, because I don't want doors on every single one of these. I want to have a ladder that goes like this so that they can get into each room, but the room is kind of sealed as a whole. Anyway, what I want to work on as well in today's episode is, of course, the electrolyzer. I mentioned it a little bit in the last episode, but I would love to be able to turn water into hydrogen and oxygen, and people in the comment section did remind me that we do have the anti-entropy thermonullifier over in our ice biome here. And so what we can do with this guy is feed it hydrogen. It has an input pipe. You pump hydrogen into it, and then once you pump hydrogen into it, it then rapidly starts to cool the air around it. And so what we can do is we can turn our water into hydrogen and oxygen. We can use some of the hydrogen to power the anti-entropy thermonullifier, and then we can pump the oxygen from the electrolyzer into a room with the thermonullifier to cool the oxygen right down to the point where we can then pump it around into the base and hopefully have a decent supply of oxygen that is not reliant on our continued production of algae. That's the plan. I think we could also get a hydrogen generator up and running as well, because having looked at some of the numbers, the electrolyzer, which we can look at in the database here, produces, I believe, 112 grams per second of hydrogen. A hydrogen generator, which is this guy over here, requires 100 grams per second of hydrogen, and the thermonullifier requires 10 grams of hydrogen per second to function. And so in theory, we could even have a 2 grams per second excess of hydrogen that we could then, store in a tank or use for some other purpose later on down the line, maybe even pump into a very rarely used second hydrogen generator just to get rid of the excess hydrogen. But I think that should work out quite nicely. So we are going to come back to that a little bit later on in today's episode. For now, I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple more doors to make moving around the base here a little bit easier. We do, of course, need a door here. We can get rid of this. The ladder should get built eventually. And, of course, I do need to put down a couple more doors around here. But more importantly than anything right now, seemingly, is that we need to get some iron ore. Now, I'm also thinking about just digging down kind of over here to try and get quite a bit of this coal ore. We have, for the first time, gone up in coal ore. We were just under 3,000 before, and we are now actually going up again. So it is possible that our hatches are back at kind of that equilibrium point where we're slowly but surely gaining coal. Although I might be a fool and we might just be mining the coal. Yeah, no, that's more likely the case, actually. Never mind. So these ladders are going to go, of course. We're not going to have these here in the future. We'll get rid of all of those. And I'm thinking about probably moving the power plant over to here somewhere. And as I mentioned before, making it a little bit bigger. Right now, it's 4x15, which is only 60 tiles. It can go all the way up to 96 tiles. Yeah, maximum size 96 tiles, which is 24x4, I think. Yeah, that's right. So we can go 24 tiles wide. It is, of course, going to be the wrong shape. Like, it's not going to be the same size as the rest of the rooms. It's not going to be that standard 15 wide room that we've had up until now. But then again, neither of these rooms here, not all of our rooms, are the same size. I have just noticed as well, we got a nice big vein of coal right there. It might not be a bad idea to get our duplicates to go and try and grab that. Although I'm going to hold off because we don't need the coal just yet. And I do have a bit of a tendency to get ahead of myself and start assigning tasks all over the place when really we should focus in on probably one task at a time for the time being. So I'm trying to find an easily accessible spot of ore, whether that be copper or iron. There is iron here. And I guess we can access that. They're not supposed to be coming down here, really. That is going to start to leak chlorine into the base eventually. But for now, I think that's fine. We should also put down the floor that's going to go here. Again, just to make it a little easier for our duplicates to get around. I always forget to leave space for the doors whenever I build stuff like this. I've got to get into the habit of actually putting my doors in. And people did also mention that we should probably look into organizing other aspects of the base as well, such as our gas piping and our liquid piping. And I can't help but agree, if we look at our gas pipes here, these are probably the best that we have right now, and we should definitely reconnect that gas pipe real quick. But the gas piping is probably our least messy setup. Like, there are some gas pipes like these over here, and these ones here. And I think this vent might be doing nothing right now, but there are a couple of gas pipes that are not doing anything. But really where the mess starts to shine is with our plumbing network, which is a little bit all over the place. I'm not going to lie, we've got water going pretty much everywhere. And that does also remind me, again, people did point out that this is not quite low enough to actually get fresh water, which means I don't think we can get research done right now. That is correct. However, we can fix that by just simply connecting this back up again, because we do still need to pump all of the rest of this water out of here and over into our tank of clean water. We should also go ahead and schedule dig tasks for all of those. We are going to get a little bit of slime here, but I think that's fine. I don't think we're in danger of getting too much slime lung. Yeah, it looks like we should be fine. This little bit of slime is going to get picked up and hopefully put over in our little slime bin over here. Okay, so a couple of cycles later, and we have something looking a little bit more like what I'm after here. We've got almost all of these rooms up and ready to go. They're still digging out the final bits and pieces here, but it's almost there. Oxygen is looking okay around here. We could probably do with some more oxygen gen over on this side, but again, my hope is that once we get the electrolyzer up and running, we can just have a few vents around the base, and oxygen distribution should be fine. It doesn't really matter for this area because no one, hopefully, is going to be in the room with the transformers. I've also set up a room down here, a big old 24x4 room, which is eventually going to have all of our coal generators, as well as the hydrogen generator, and maybe even the natural gas generator if we can move it down into there. It also has the added benefit of having a ton of coal over here as well, which is fantastic. And so real quick, over in the power section, I want to have a transformer on the ground floor of each and every one of these rooms. We can't put it in the water there, so let's come back to that. Oh no, we can put it in the water there. Never mind. That was just a visual glitch. And then from there, of course, we're going to have the power wires come out of here and then across to the main floors like so. Now, of course, we do also have to have heavy watt wire, which I'm hoping is not too expensive. It's a little expensive, but we are going to have heavy watt wire going all the way up through the base. And again, this is another one of those situations where I probably should have not built these floors in ahead of time. But if we get... Actually, can I get rid of that floor? Before I do that, let me check to see if this works, because the transformer might need... Yeah, I think it might need both floors here. So what we might have to do is get rid of the back one on each floor and have the heavy watt wire come up that way. Yeah, let's do it like that. So the heavy watt wire is going to go all the way up, like so, into here, and into every other one of these transformers, like so. And then we are going to have heavy watt plating on every single floor. So here, 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 and here. It seems like after you place a few of them down, it just decides maybe you don't want more of them, and it goes invisible for a second there. Either way, that should hopefully be able to distribute power nice and easily throughout the entirety of the base, and also try and keep that heat contained into the area around the transformer. The same is true for the coal generators over here right now. We don't have that insulated tile, and so although it's not a huge issue, it is slowly but surely leaking heat out into the rest of the base. And when this room is, 45, even encroaching on 50 degrees Celsius there, it's probably a good idea if we kind of have that quarantined off and in an area where the heat's not going to affect the rest of the base. I will set the priority of this dig here slightly higher. I didn't mean to set the priority of these to a 9, by the way. We can lower that to like a 7, and we'll put the dig at a 7 as well. We're, of course, going to get rid of this gas pump and all the other stuff around it here. And that does remind me, actually, for one, it reminds me that we should really look at trying to force our network to use the gas generator. I'm going to delete a wire there to get the natural gas generator online, because otherwise we're going to end up in this situation where the natural gas is completely and utterly backed up, which is not what we want. And also, we are having allergic reactions here. I did, of course, forget about this room. So I've once again locked these doors to Mima, so she cannot go either in or out of these two doors here. I'm hoping, once again, like with the area over here, if we can get enough oxygen into this area, I'm hoping we can kind of push that fluorescent away. I've also scheduled the uprooting of this plant, which I feel like is just a sensible idea at this point. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. Like, this plant is emitting most of the fluorescent around the base. There is a bit coming from our bristle blossom, but this is causing a lot of floral scent, and so it seems completely bizarre to continue to have it in the area, right? So hopefully, over time, our duplicates will breathe in all of this floral scent, and it will just disappear and not be a problem anymore, and hopefully Mimar won't have to deal with that. I am so very annoyed that they dug out this tile here and didn't build the tile on it. Can we get like a priority 9 build on this here? Because that is chlorine coming into the base, and our oxygen is rising up. Guys, like, this is like a priority urgent, please. I do not want the chlorine in the base. Unreachable build. Oh my goodness. Okay, ladder. Here we go. This is a top priority ladder build as well, please. So that we can actually get that chlorine somewhat sealed off. It's already become an issue. We are going to have to deal with that chlorine there. It will slowly fall, of course. It's maybe not a huge issue, but it would have been ideal if this didn't happen at all. There we go. Thank you, guys. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's, you know, it's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but it's manageable. That does remind me, people did in the comment section point out that it's not particularly energy efficient to have gas pumps running all of the time. So like for this area down here, the way it works right now is that so long as the pipe's not blocked, which it currently is, but in a normal situation where the pipe is not blocked, the gas generator will just constantly and continuously pump gas, or could try to pump gas, even if there's not that much gas in the air around it, which definitely was the case for a while here. With 2 gas pumps, a lot of the time there was very little natural gas in this area, but even so, the gas pumps were still working at full speed and using a ton of power to pump that gas out. And so people did recommend that we use an Atmos sensor right here. And I will put one, we'll put one down. And the Atmos sensor allows us to check the density of the gas in the area around it. And so what we can do is we can say if there is less than, say, 500 grams or 700 grams or 1,000 grams of natural gas around the Atmos sensor, then don't turn the gas pump on. Only turn the gas pump on when there is like a significant amount of natural gas here, at which point it will start pumping away, it'll take the natural gas out, and then when the gas pressure falls below a certain amount, it will then turn the gas pump off and essentially tell it to wait until there is enough gas there to turn it back on again. So a pretty neat little bit of machinery here. I will, of course, go ahead and hook that up with automation wire to make that a reality. Stress is rising a little bit. I'm not super surprised by that. May is the one with the highest stress, and that is because she's sopping wet and hungry. I don't know why our duplicates are hungry. I feel like they should never be hungry. She is able to eat the stuffed berries there. It could be something to do with the schedule here. We could add again another section of downtime, although she's about to go and have some downtime, so I'm assuming she'll eat then. But the soggy feet is to be expected. We did have quite a bit of water around here, and we still do have a little bit of water right about there that we should mop up. And there, you know, we broke into this here, and there was more water coming out. But I think that is now fixed. We can get rid of that water as well whilst we're at it. The chlorine, it's annoying, but also I feel like trying to combat it right now is not necessarily going to work. Although this right here is definitely an issue. I got rid of the door here because I wanted to put in some tile there to actually make this, to stop the floral scent escaping. But the chlorine is going to be a problem. I'm hoping eventually the chlorine will settle down around about here, at which point we can use a pump to get rid of it. It seems silly to try and use a pump now, because if we try and pump this out now, it's just going to, you know, move down throughout the base. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with the airflow tiles here, here, and here. I'm going to let all this chlorine hopefully sink down to somewhere around here, at which point we can just use a standard gas pump to get rid of that. Also, real quick, top priority here, guys. Could we delete one of these pipes? Because this is full. And that is not what we want. Thank you. Okay, and can we also mop up this area over here? I was not paying attention to this area right here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's manageable. There's not too much water overflowing here, so that's actually not too bad. It's very much so on the brink, though. Oh yeah, look at that. He's there. Oh, he has to keep going. Please. We're almost out of water down here, though, so we can almost start to actually use this space, which is going to be quite nice. We do need to schedule the deletion of all of this stuff. I'll make that a slightly higher priority, so they get rid of that and continue building all of this stuff over here. We also, I guess, actually need to tweak this a little bit. I guess we need to move the ladder over by one so we can actually have solid ground beneath the transformer there. So we'll do that, and we'll put an insulator tile right about there to actually get that built, at which point I think we should be pretty much good to go there. Again, as always, I do want to get rid of these last. I want to have the new generators up and running before we start putting getting rid of the old ones. And so over in this area, we're going to have, of course, a station, a power control station, like so. We're going to have 3 coal generators for now. We'll do those. I guess let's put the battery here. We'll have the battery like right at the exit, and then we'll have 3 coal generators, 1, and then as soon as we get enough metal ore to do it, we'll put down the other 2. I did dig out this metal ore up here, like all of this area has been taken care of, and we did find a little bit more metal ore as we went, but I guess we just need even more metal ore. And so I'm thinking what I might do is schedule like a quite high priority dig over here and kind of dig out in this direction and then have them dig up and above and below here to try and get some of that iron. Like this iron here would be really nice if we could grab that, although that is a little high. I will also put a tile right about here. I guess we can put one here as well, just to make sure they can actually run over and get to this area as well. So we'll see if they can get over there. That's hopefully going to get us the metal ore that we need to actually build some of this stuff over here. But for the most part, this is working out quite well. And so whilst they do that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get a low priority going, but I'm going to start to try and map out how we want this area over here to look. So I want them to probably dig right about here. And again, I am going to specify this as like priority 1 for now. Digging through here, just because this is the area with the least abyssalite, which is of course quite hard to dig through. And this actually lines up really well with our pre-existing base floor. And so we'll probably have something like this. I'm going to make it again out of insulated tile because this room can get quite cold. And I think this thing is like 3 blocks wide. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think we'll do something maybe like that and have this come up like so. We can have eventually a gas pump right at the top. Again, that's annoying that doesn't work, but I guess we'll put it in like the top left corner like that. So all of the gas is going to get pumped into here, the oxygen, and then we'll have a thermosensor. And again, I'm going to put this like quite close, I think, eventually to the cooler, because we run into another problem here where the oxygen could be too cold. We don't want to spread oxygen to our base that is ice cold, right? We want to make sure that the oxygen that goes into our base is cold, but not, negative 35, negative 40, negative 100 degrees Celsius, because this guy can get very cold very fast. And I don't know if this thing has an automation input, but we might also have it so that when it gets too cold, we just turn off the thermo nullifier. Although I guess we could, if this doesn't have an input for automation, we could just use the automation to shut off the gas pipe to stop the hydrogen going in. Real quick though, stress is real freaking high. Stinky, why in the world is your stress so high? Soggy feet and holding breath. It's the chlorine, of course. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is put down another reservoir right about there, because I've been thinking about this, and I was kind of thinking how we're going to get rid of the chlorine that's in here and maybe even the chlorine that's down here. But this area down here is quite dense already, and so this is obviously a vacuum now, but trying to pump the chlorine out here, I think is going to result in just overpressurized gas vents. And so I think for now, we should just store the chlorine. We might even have a use for it at some point later on down the line. And so let's go ahead and get a gas pump. Let's put it, I guess for now, right about here. It's not going to sink below the carbon dioxide, so it's going to sit on this floor right here. But we'll have that there, and then we'll have a gas pipe that pumps up and across and into what is going to be our reservoir. Very temporary setup. The pump's not going to be there forever. The reservoir is, of course, going to have to stay, but I think that's going to work out quite nicely. We'll also just hook it on to this power line that's already here, so we can actually start to use some of the power from our natural gas generator. And hopefully that's going to work out quite well. That is all priority 9. Again, I don't mean for my build tasks to be priority 9. We'll set them to like priority 7 for the time being, but that should work out quite well. Do we have what it takes to put down another coal generator? We do. Do we have what it takes to put down 2 coal generators? We do. Fantastic. And then heavy watt wire going from there to the battery. And then, of course, from the battery up and to here, we're probably going to have to do something like this and then have the plate in the middle like so. And of course, we do need the automation wire set up as usual. So something like this should do just fine. And of course, with these being so far away, I think that we do really want to have the automated sweeper putting things into this coal generator. Again, I am going to not do that until we have a decent amount of power ready to go, but it is on my list of plans. We should very much so delete these, priority 9, please. Because I'm a fool, and we should definitely have a... Oh, wait, I was gonna say we should have only chlorine going into here so that, we filter out the carbon dioxide. I had a feeling it wouldn't be able to store both, but it is storing both. Either way, I will put a filter into here. I do want it to be pretty much exclusively chlorine. So we'll do this. We'll have the gas pipe, of course, go around like that. And then for now, we can just output the carbon dioxide right about there. It's not ideal, but the carbon dioxide will sink back down as time goes on. And so hopefully we can start to get rid of some of this this chlorine here. And actually, on top of that, it might not be a bad idea to put down another skimmer, carbon skimmer, at the bottom here like this, just to kind of get rid of some of that excess CO2 that's causing an issue right now. Although, oh gosh, it's going to be a pain, right? Because getting water over there and getting water back from over there is going to be a real pain in the backside. And so instead, what I might just do for now is put like an airflow tile or two, like here and here, to allow some of this carbon dioxide to hopefully sink down into this area, which is not too full, and hopefully make this area up here just that little bit more breathable. It probably also requires some airflow tiles like here and here, because right now it's quite hard for the carbon dioxide to actually squeeze down through here, but I'm hoping that works. I don't think it's a huge issue that this is full of carbon dioxide. It is, of course, if our duplicants decide to go and do anything in there, like mopping this up. But for the most part, it shouldn't be an issue. I would like you to filter out chlorine, and of course, you do need power. So we'll do something like that. It's a very temporary setup to get the chlorine out of here, and hopefully get the carbon dioxide down over here. But this plan, I think, is going to work out quite well, and hopefully should give us quite a nice amount of... why are you digging that out? Okay, cancel those digs. Those were priority 1. And so I'm surprised that they decided not to go for these ones over here. Can you get down here? You can, right? This is all reachable. However, you are awaiting the delivery of iron ore. Did we dig out over here? We did. So we do have quite a bit of coal now. We're back up at 27 tons, which is fantastic. I will schedule a slightly higher priority dig for some of this iron ore here to try and get that into the base. Guess we can also dig that as well whilst we're at it. There's also a fair bit of algae down here as well, so getting that would probably work out quite well for us. Stinky's still super high on stress. Now it's mostly due to low morale, and actually, oh my goodness, he's gone and got on the massage table. Oh my goodness, what is the... You gotta get to 50 stress for that to happen, but finally, somebody has taken refuge on the massage table there. That kind of makes sense. We've got, yeah, the morale is quite low. Again, they've not been around the high decor area of the base. They've been over in this area, which is just horrendous, especially with the heavy wire and the transformers. And they've also not been going through the nature reserve either. So it might not be a bad idea to just, when he gets off this, just go and make him walk into the nature reserve for a minute. I say that, the nature reserve is full of carbon dioxide and chlorine, so it's not a great place to be, all things considered. I will turn the carbon skimmer back on to try and skim some of this carbon away, because boy, is that getting a little out of hand. But then over here, we're going to have a hydrogen generator. This can be a low priority for now. And I think I will move the natural gas generator down here at some point as well. But for now, we'll just throw that there. And of course, connect that up with heavy wire, like so, giving us some extra power there. This area is looking much, much better now. There is still chlorine there, but that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and probably delete most of this now. Like, there's not enough chlorine here to where this is... in any way warranted, so we'll delete pretty much all of that, leaving just the reservoir there. Eventually, we'll put down some more gas pumps and start pumping some of this chlorine up and into that reservoir as well. But for now, this is okay. I would like a slightly higher priority mop on these so our duplicants can stop having soggy feet. That would be fantastic. Automation-wise, down here, this is online because it's currently below 1,000 grams. So I want this to be above, let's say, 630. That's an arbitrary number, but right now it's off, and so this should stay off until the pressure down here builds up so much that there is 640 grams worth or 630 grams worth of natural gas there, and that should hopefully be a little bit more power efficient for us. Let's take a look at our duplicate skills here. Everybody has a skill to be applied to them. So Stinky, I'm a little cautious giving... See, now he's got 33 morale. It really depends on where they are in the base. But I think for now, I actually think I'm not going to give him any skills just because I don't want that morale getting even higher. I think we will give skills to Bubbles. Bubbles is quite all right on morale right now. We'll give it improved construction too. The same is true for Nicola. I think we can give Nicola something like improved carrying for the time being. Everybody else who's already quite high on their morale requirements, I think we'll leave them for now just so that morale doesn't bump stress up any higher. Stinky stress is coming down, which is good. The carbon skimmer is online, so hopefully we'll slowly but surely start to see some of this carbon dioxide get taken care of. And for the most part, I think this has been a relative success. We've managed to survive 10 cycles today. Wow, the time has flown by. Oh my goodness, we've been going for so long. And we haven't really gotten done what I wanted to get done. I wanted to get this room up and running, but the base, like, idea for this is there. this is going, which is good. I do still want to sort out kind of our gas and our liquid situation. I will schedule the deletion of some of these like useless pipes here, because we don't need most of these. This one I'm fine with because no one's going to go over there just yet. The door is locked. The same is true for the ones that are outside of the base right now. I'm not too bothered about fixing those just yet. I will, however, go ahead and delete a few of these. I'll also get rid of this one for now. I don't think we need this pipe that goes all the way up here anymore. This pipe for now can stay there. I guess we'll use this pipe for bringing the oxygen in from our new setup. And this area over here, I think, is now completely unnecessary, right? Like, I don't think we need any of this anymore. Like, all of this can go. We're not going to use this again. We're going to move over to our new method of producing cold oxygen, and until then, we're going to continue using our diffusers. Power has gone offline. That could be for a number of reasons, but it looks like it might be due to the fact that... Wait. Oh, the battery's dead. Of course, I disconnected this wire here so the natural gas would start to get used. The natural gas is being used, and also the natural gas is backing up down here. So let's go ahead and put down this missing wire again. This one right here, so that our base can continue to receive oxygen and our duplicates can continue to breathe. We can also probably get rid of some of these buildings now. We don't need these guys. We will build a floor there eventually, like so. We can also probably get rid of a few of the other deodorizers around the base. These ones over here especially could probably go. There's still quite a bit of slime along here, and actually still quite a bit of polluted oxygen. Oh my goodness. We should really move the deodorizers up to the top though. I'm not too bothered about getting rid of those just yet. We'll come back to that. But I think that's going to clear up our gas situation quite a bit. Yeah, all of that's looking much, much better now. And this, I think, is all pretty much online. We don't have any copper to give to it, but we can select copper. But I think this is all pretty much online to the point where we can probably go ahead and disconnect our main grid now. All we need to do is make sure that the power lines are in the floor and ready to go. So like this. And this one is not necessary just yet. There's nothing on this floor, right? Yeah, no. So we'll leave that one for now. We can come back to that one in the future. But this one definitely is necessary. We'll hook that up like so. This one is also necessary like that. And it's essentially the same idea along all of the floors here. And ideally, once that is taken care of, we disconnect or take down our pre-existing power setup. I will set these to a slightly higher priority. And also this guy to a high priority as well, so he gets taken care of. But let's go ahead and deconstruct what is down here. I'm just thinking real quick if anything is going to go catastrophically wrong if I do this. I don't think so. We've got a good surplus of oxygen. I'll also get rid of the bin there as well. We've got a good surplus of oxygen, so that should be fine. I will put a bin in here for now so we can actually get the coal into there and store it over there for now. But oxygen's fine, so that's not going to go wrong. We are going to get some sloppy feet here, but that's okay. Is there any water here? Oh, there is. Don't delete these pipes. That's my bad. I should have selected buildings only. Although I do also want them to get rid of the automation wire and the other wires and whatnot. So real quick, priority 8 mop here. That one was my bad. But the carbon dioxide is being taken care of, which is good. More of this area is becoming breathable by the minute, which is great. This area over here is going to come online any minute now. We're up to 6 tons of algae and 27 tons of coal. So enough coal to keep us going for quite a while here. But we'll deconstruct all of this. I will deconstruct at a priority 7 just to get rid of it all. And then we'll start working with the new power grid, which hopefully is going to be simpler and just easier to use in general. We also, of course, want to get rid of the power wires that go between floors. So stuff like this and all of these wires here can go because each floor is going to be designated to just one area here. Now, I think I probably do want to prioritize, oh, these are all priority 9s. Oh my goodness. I feel like I keep changing that, but it doesn't go back down. Like whenever I re-click on it, it goes back up to like priority 9. I'm not quite sure what that is, but nevertheless, this is getting taken care of. The transformers are being taken down. As they're taken down, we should get some metal back, which will allow us to build things like the wire and whatnot. And speaking of which, I did see insufficient iron ore there. Yeah, we should probably go ahead and build that out of copper ore, simply due to the fact that we actually have a large amount of copper ore, as opposed to the 0 iron that we have. So we'll make these out of copper, so that they can actually, of course, get made. We do probably want to focus on getting the ones that are powering our oxygen up and running first, and also the ones that are powering our food as well. But that looks like it's getting taken care of. And within a couple of cycles here, we should be back online again with everything up and running and power hopefully not being an issue for us. There is, of course, the issue of of the floors that are beneath this transformer. Thankfully, right now, there are not many things beneath this transformer. There's the water sieve, and there are the 2 fertilizer synthesizers. But other than that, I don't think there is really anything. The distillers are on the floor, so they should get power. The gas pump, I guess, is, in with the system of this here. But we could probably have this guy for now power these and power the water sieve, because there's not really anything on this floor for it to work with. So this bottom one is going to be a little bit messy. But every other part of the base should be working quite well here. Like, this is all online, which is good. Our deoxidizers are up and running again, which is fantastic. I'll delete pretty much all of this wiring coming down here. And again, of course, all of the wiring between floors, like so. We do want to get our fridge back online, so I'll work on that in just a second here. But I think, guys, this is going to be a much, much better way of working with power here. It's taken a while, that's for sure. And we are going to have some water that goes, or power wires here that go through water, which might not be ideal. But we'll do that. We'll disconnect these for now. And I'll also disconnect this wire for now so that we can reconnect it in a second. We're definitely going to have to move this. Like, the natural gas generator is not in a good place for the new power system. But yeah, it did take a while to get up and running here, but I think it's definitely going to be worth it. And although we didn't quite get around to setting up our new electrolyzer in today's episode, we are primed and ready to work on that in the next episode. Yeah, I guess we'll have this continue along like so, and connect up to all of these guys over here. We can get rid of most of this power wire, pretty much all of this power wire. As always, we do want the majority of it to be in the floor where possible, and it looks like, again, we've got a lot more wire hidden now as well, which is good. Like previously, we had wires like this, which we can now go ahead and get rid of. We don't need this kind of wire anymore. We do need to power the carbon skimmer, which is, I think, one of, if not the only thing that's currently not going to have power under the new system, because again, much like with the water sieve, it is beneath the new power network. Our colony is continuing to live. Food is still going strong. We've got solely stuffed berries now, so hopefully everybody is able to eat stuffed berries. I think they are good. So nobody's eating anything else now, which is good. Stress is low. Nobody's got any stress, which is good. Nobody's sick, which is fantastic. Power is doing fine. We've got loads of coal. We've got a fair bit of algae. Next time we'll come back, we'll set up a new area over here to produce oxygen so that hopefully we don't have to rely on that algae anymore. The only thing that's really been an issue for us in this past couple of episodes has been stress and keeping morale high. So what we might want to do is put down some more decor, maybe around this new area, especially as I go down and work over here. I don't think we can quite fit like a blank canvas in here. Like, I don't think that's gonna fit. Even the smaller ones won't fit either. We could put maybe like a hanging pot in here, maybe, or maybe some moldings to make it look a little bit nicer. But trying to offset the negative like 500 decor feels like it might be a waste of time. What we probably want to do instead is just have our storage bin be somewhere over here, and then just have the machines bring stuff over to here. Although somebody is going to have to come in here all the time to work the power station, and so maybe it is worth trying to make this a nicer place to work in. It might even be worth putting a few ceiling lights in and putting a motion sensor in to make it so that when somebody does come in here, they can work faster and get out quicker, right? You know what? Sure, let's put in some crown molding, shall we? We'll put in like a corner molding. I don't know how well this is going to work out, but hopefully it might mitigate some of the horrendousness of this room. It may also have been a decent idea to spread these out a bit more and have like statues between them. That might have worked out a little bit better. How does this affect it? Negative. Oh, it's going down a little bit. It's actually not terrible. But yeah, it might have been worth spreading these out a little bit. We could put carpet in here, but that would not help with the heat. We could put like carpet and then have mesh tile beneath it, I guess, if we really wanted to try and increase the decor. Plus 10 for every tile. That's not bad. And again, if we just put another mesh tile beneath it, it should keep the heat kind of trapped in that room. It would be really weird having carpet in the power room and then nowhere else in the base. But for now, hopefully that mitigates it a little bit. I don't think it's done much work, in all honesty. But nevertheless, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up there for today. We will go ahead and connect up the final few missing power wires here. And I will check to see if we've got anything that we missed. I guess we do also want this going over to here. And yeah, for now, I'm okay with these lights being powered by this wire, like so. Nothing over here, nothing over there. We're not going to power the jukebox, of course, because that would be insanity. This is scheduled, although potentially unreachable. Yes. I think I'll leave that there. I think for now I'll just put like a ladder right about there and there so our duplicants can actually get to it. That might cause a little bit of a spillage, but nothing we can't handle. This area does also need to be finalized real quick with a wire like so. We can get rid of that wire. And the same is true right about here as well. Connect that up so that nothing can be done here because those are not coming online just yet. But that is looking pretty good. I guess, yeah, no, I guess I will bring this back online real quick just because carbon is looking like it could be a problem. So we'll do that. That is going to be our last little bit, hopefully, of messy wiring here. The rest of the wiring is looking so much nicer now. It's looking so much more organized. And again, it's just going to make it that much easier for us to calculate whereabouts to put all of our new machines going forward, where we've got the excess power capacity, where we don't, all that good stuff. And with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode there. As always, if you did enjoy the video and you want to see more Oxygen Not Included, be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new here to get notified as soon as new videos go out. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.